Harith Iskander is known as Malaysia's resident funny man. The man has Netflix specials, show after show. Harith was selected by a comedy club in 2016 as the world's funniest man, but unfortunately, nobody's laughing now. The dude lost his marriage a while ago, revealed it all on a podcast where their friend had to intervene, and I swear that was the most awkward thing in the entire world. And recently, he came back into the spotlight for a very unfortunate reason, I would say, because of the ham scandal. Alright, here's the drip. A couple of weeks ago, there was news about fake halal logos being used on the sandwiches being sold in a KK Mart on University Malaya's campus. Basically, these sandwiches had fake halal logos. The supplier was arrested after Dr. Akmal came into the picture. So on one fateful day, probably after noticing the wild exchange between Akmal and Ming being all like, idiot, idiot, ham, Harith Iskander arrives at a cafe.
Could be a food truck though, based on what I saw from the label.
Selling hamsat coffee. Comedian as he is, he decides to make a joke. The Facebook post that he makes reads, "I'm so confused, my iman tergugat. This copy will lead me down the wrong path in so many ways. Not just tempting me to become hamsat, but also confusing me with the word ham in it. Ni untuk minum atau makan. I must make a police report because I am so weak, I have lost all ability to use logic. Who else is confused?" The negative comments rage on, angry emojis appear one after another.
See, that's not the kicker though, this is.
Before you know it, Cecelia Yap Song KL makes a Facebook comment and the entire internet goes ballistic. Before you know it, another comedian reports him to the police, he's called in by Jakib. Barely 1 week later, Harith's Dewan Philharmonic show has been cancelled because the man gets a death threat. The perpetrator is arrested, and Malaysia is not even focusing on the person who made the death threat, but is asking for him to apologize. Wow. Incredible. Right now, the entire country is going out there and asking him to give a public apology.
But should he though?
Nope, I don't think he should have to apologize.
But watch this video to the end if you want to crucify me.
Let me start by saying that what Cecelia Yap Song KL said was reprehensible. You should not be insulting people's sensitivities, you should not be going out there and using the word ham in a context that refers to somebody's prophet, somebody's god, or anything else out there. That cannot be ignored in a multiracial, multicultural society such as Malaysia.
It's good that the police took her in, by the way. Though I guess some of these people will be like, minta maaf je settle. But then forget about these guys.
Second of all, Harith might not have known that the real issue was the fake halal certificate. Or he might have, and he just wanted to do his clever wordplay. He is Muslim, and what he said can definitely be understood as a low IQ take on a nuanced issue. But generally, I don't think that he should apologize because I don't think it was his intention to insult his religion. I don't really like Harith Iskander, honestly. I don't think his jokes are particularly funny. There has been no situation where I have watched a video featuring Harith Iskander and I was reduced into absolute uncontrollable laughter. But what do I know? He got very rich through comedy, and maybe a lowly creature like me just doesn't understand humor. Totally possible.
I don't know if I know anymore, but what do you think?
Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I don't think he's malicious and I don't think he hates Islam. I mean, heck, he even talked about this with Professor Tajuddin on his own YouTube channel.
History of that. So if you were saying, let's say, Harith is very insulting to Islam, the first thing I would do is check your YouTube and say, anything that he has done this before?
And I think this explanation makes sense. Look at his YouTube channel, look at everything that he's created, and see if he actually wanted to insult Islam. You could say talking about hudud is an example of insulting Islam, but is it really? Well, this brings me to my next point. Harith is a comedian. You could say, ha! Stupid label for somebody who's insulting religion, but the fact is that people have different standards for what they think is acceptable in this world. Who gets to decide though? Not so clear-cut because you can both be funny and insulting, but then, even as you say he mempersendakan agama Islam, what if he's actually trying to strengthen your faith by telling you that 3 letters next to one another, a fake halal scandal or anything can never destroy your faith? Are you gonna call Harith Iskander a hero then? The point is, there are so many different interpretations for what is happening out there. Harith has an interpretation, you have an interpretation, your mother, father, sister, brother, grandmother all have different interpretations based on their experience of this weird, wild internet world. So why are you so sure that yours is correct? Here's the answer, you have no idea. So if you ask Harith Iskander to write an apology, right, then who is he going to write the apology to? Is he going to write it to you? What if you're not offended? Does he have to apologize to you? Does he apologize to the 20% of people who said that they want him to make a public apology? To your moderate average Muslim and extremist a paswalaun? Come on. Speaking of which, third point. How do you even know his apology is going to be sincere? I mean, think about it, right? Harith could very easily right now go right ahead, write an apology saying, I am so sorry, I reflected on my actions. I apologize because you are unable to take a joke and I should have been more aware of that in a society as sensitive as Malaysia. Are you really going to take that seriously? They're all like, apology accepted, thank you brother Harith, you are truly wonderful, keep up the good work. Well, no. If he did that, he'd probably just be trying to get out of the crap that he got himself into because of this hand thing. And that's exactly what happens when somebody is subjected to torture. They will say whatever it is under the sun in order to get out of the torture. Therefore, the apology would be useless. For that matter, just because you disagree or you want to create this slippery slope where you say everybody now has an environment to mempersendakan your agama,
TBH, I think the logic would be better if it were about protecting people by teaching them immunity, as in like teaching them to not take offense against every single thing.
You want him to apologize? Well, where were you when people had an environment to mempersendakan other races, other religions, and everything else along the way? Basically, if you're not going out there and mocking people who scream at people of other races and religions, claiming that everybody is part of the Yo Corporation, and declaring sepupu, 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 you don't have the right to make this argument because it's a clear double standard. If you want people to accept this logic, then you better put your money where your mouth is. Which brings me to my next point. Harith, if you apologize to people like these unironically, you're basically validating their entitled mentality and giving them the assurance that any Tom, Dick, and Harry can go out there, make reports, make threats or otherwise, and cause public figures to capitulate to their demands even if they're part of a mob. People need to get better at ignoring people they disagree with in this country or that they think are stupid. But that brings me to my final point. Harith shouldn't apologize because he shouldn't be subjected to intimidation. No Malaysian should be. Frankly, when I look at this situation, I see the ugliness of Malaysians on display. Because what does it mean when I'm going around seeing people say that it is faster to catch Harith Iskander through the criminal rather than actually going through the justice system? And what does it mean when people are literally saying yang ugut kena tangkap tapi yang hina pula masih belum dicari? And I'm like, what? We agree that what Cecelia Yap Song KL did was horrible. But you have no reason to say that people who threaten other people in this country should ever be free. Because the law should 100% go after anybody who threatens anybody on Malaysian social media, and it doesn't matter what your race, your religion, or anything else is. Stop threatening other people's families just because you personally don't agree. You cannot tolerate things that are unpleasant to you. But accept that there are going to be people who interpret the ham joke differently. They find it funny, they find it lighthearted, and they find it, in fact, an encouragement for them that it serves the purpose of humor to highlight contradictions, the ridiculosity, the extreme sensitivity to insult, and the thin-skinned nature of those out there who are terpaling terancam. And I hope that these two groups, even if they don't reconcile, they can at the very least tolerate each other's existence. Because I think that's going to be a very important part of building up Malaysia's social fabric as a country in the days ahead. If you are one of those people who is terpaling terancam, I sincerely wonder how you can survive, not just in Malaysia but in any society. And I think you should count it a blessing that there isn't a wide-scale investigation to find out who you are, especially if you're the kind that's supporting ugutan, clicking like on comments that facilitate the ugutan, and otherwise. Seriously, please, for the love of God, learn to live and let live. Some people will piss you off, that is a reality of life, but that does not give you the right to go out there and take matters into your own hands. And if you try to do that, then PDRM's next target and Malaysia's next target should be you. And whether you think this is a Muslim issue or not, the fact is that what happened to Harith could happen to anybody, and it offers lessons to every single one of us out there in Malaysia. But what do you think? Do you think that Harith Iskander should apologize? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I guess I'll end this with a message to Harith. Harith, I don't know you very well or even at all, but nobody from Malaysia should be going through what you and your family are going through right now. I'm sorry that it's happening, and it shouldn't be happening. It should not happen, not now, not ever, and not for a joke, even if it's not a very good one. Either way, I hope you won't give in to these people. I understand if you wrote an apology just for the sake of taking off the pressure, but as a matter of principle, I think that your joke was at least in the right spirit. I hope you keep well, your family will keep well as well, and that Malaysia as a society is going to somehow learn, for the love of God, learn from this situation, and you'll find somehow a meaningful way to contribute towards that growth. Alright, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.